Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Maria, and I'm here on behalf of Reynard News. And this gentleman sitting to my left, well, needs no introduction. In fact, if you don't know who this guy is, you are dead. And next to me is Donald Trump.
Hello, Maria.
How are you?
Thank you for inviting me into this studio of yours. It is lovely to meet you and to speak to the British public.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Donald. Anyway, as some people are aware, my daytime job, although I don't like to call it a job because it's a passion of mine, is to get involved in life coaching.
Okay.
And that entails me and another person in a room where I would ask questions to help them find their truth from within.
Okay.
And so that's their truth will serve them to deliver them into a life that was meant for them.
Right, okay.
That is absolutely my objective.
That's a wonderful objective you've got there. And we all need to have an objective to follow. We need a goal to reach for, to strive for.
Right.
And I'm glad that you have one.
Absolutely. And the reason that you've been invited here today is because we in the UK are confused. We have seen you on the TV and we've seen the conflict with Hillary Clinton. One time we would only ever tap into the American election just to see who swears in at the end. Now, with media and the way the world is, we have been able to see you in action for many weeks now. And I just want to spend a little bit of time sharing with you that the perception that's over here and what I have heard, not strictly speaking my own perception, but people are saying you are either a genius or an absolute lunatic.
I would say I'm not a genius. I have a genius mind for business, but in terms of being a genius generally, I wouldn't say. But I am certainly not an idiot, Maria.
Right, okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that, and I'm glad to hear that you believe that. And what this is about is trying to convince people, and I'm sure this will be your objective, that you are not an idiot and you truly want to lead your country to great things.
I do indeed.
And I'm going to try my best to help you do that.
Well, thank you. This country of mine, the United States of America, is a wonderful country. We have so much potential, so many people, so many good people. We have been a great country in the past, but we seem to be paying more and more out to different peoples and different countries for things that we should be doing ourselves. And why people are attacking us, it's ridiculous.
Right, okay. Well, one of the things when I'm serving as a life coach, one of the things I try to get the person sitting next to me, let's call you the participant.
Okay.
One of the things I like to get the participants to do is to focus on themselves and not focus so much on the rest of the world and everything outside of them. Okay. See, already, Donald, you have referred to they, to them, and to the others that are attacking you. And I want to learn a little bit more about your part, your part in the equation. What are you doing? What are you thinking?
My part of the equation is simple. I want to bring the abilities that I have, where I have triumphed in business, where I've built one of the greatest hotels in the world, in New York. I want to bring the capabilities, the business mind that I have, the ability to get others to do work, to do great things. I want to bring all that, and I want to put that at the service of my country. For my country has served me well, and it is time for me to do the work, because this country is in a mess. I said nearly 30 years ago that I would not run for president because I thought there were other people who were better than me that doing that. I'm a great businessman. They were not great businessmen, but I am a great businessman.
So 30 years ago,
yes.
Do you think it was in a mess?
I don't think in 30 years ago that we had such a mess, but we have got worse and worse, and I do not like it. And I want to help the people, to give them pride in themselves again, so that they can own their own businesses and they can do great things for this country and for the world.
So what have you done in your businesses then help us to understand why anyone would think you were right for the job. What have you done in your businesses that can? But business, a country isn't just business; it's people.
No, it is people. That's why I was the first person to employ 2 women at the head of my construction business. We have many women now who are at that, but I was the pioneer there, the first person to do that.
And what
they
did you do with
job.
the people? So you had 2 women.
I trained them, and I gave them space to make mistakes and to lead well, and which they did. They ran with those jobs very well. Now there are people who manage situations, who make mistakes and are not good, and sometimes the best thing to do is to fire them, and I will fire them, and they'll only remember that Donald Trump fired them, but it's the best thing for them. If they're going wrong, they need to stop, and then they can reevaluate and know and how to do next time they get into their job.
So are you saying then that your strategy then is to base running the United States of America on what you did in your hotel businesses and any other businesses that were successful? Have you got a model for this?
I have the Trump Foundation is a wonderful organization where we have many millions of dollars. We have many thousands of people who work and earn money and are reliant on us. We will do that for the state, the United States of America. We will make the United States of America run itself. It will bring its own people, and we will put the right people in place. We will hire the right people. We will train the right people.
Okay, but I know you're a successful businessman. No, that's not true. I don't know that. But that's what people say.
Let me assure you I am.
Okay, but it's still not running a country. You've run businesses.
Yes.
What qualifies you to run a country?
Because I ran a highly successful organization, and that is what a government is. A government. I'm not running the whole country in terms of the fact that I can't make the weather rain or shine or snow at the right times. All I can do is run the business of government. And government.
But what is it? What is government to Donald Trump? What does it mean? What does it look like?
Let me explain. Government is simply the means to enable the rest of the country to work. We look after the means of providing the services, providing things that make people can then use to go on. It's a bit like, say, the London Underground in your lovely country of England. And the London Underground is a system for getting people from A to B, but it's a wonderful. Thousands and millions of people use that every day. If that London Underground, which is a public organisation, if that was not there, businesses would struggle to get their people in, and they would not get there. So it's providing that service that enables the other people to do business.
But the London Underground, it's a specialised area and it's quite specific. Running a country is non-specific. You've got to cover such a lot of ground. What qualifies you to do that?
Because I will get the right people in place, and that's the key part.
Okay, so how are you going to do that? Who are these people? Where are you going to find them?
You're asking me questions that I have not had a chance. I have a number of people that I am aware of who I will use to help me in my organisation of the government, but I will make sure that the people that we then put in place are the right people. I have trusted lieutenants who will be in place, and they will look for these people as well. We have already identified some, and we will make government
Mr. Trump,
work
with respect,
for the
this
people.
is like you're coming to the very end of your, running for this. What is it, the 8th of November?
And we are talking days now.
We're talking days, and can the United States be confident that you've prepared for this?
Yes.
You're ready for this?
Yes, because I have stood on the sidelines of government, not willing to take a step forward and to try and lead this country, thinking that there were others that were better at it than I am, when there aren't. There are not at the current moment. Hillary is not the person to take this country forward. She's a corrupt individual. They are
so
not,
okay, on that note of corruption, what do you really think about, what values do you think are required to be a president of the United States? Because obviously someone that is mixed up in corruption, well, they don't have the values I think that it would take.
Not at all. Someone who's straight, someone people tell people what they want, this is the best for someone who will work for the United States, for the betterment of the United States, not for the betterment of Donald Trump. Because for the betterment of Donald Trump would be to work in my own organisation.
But do you consider the needs of people, or just what Donald Trump thinks the people need?
I will work for the people. I will tell them. I will show them, Maria, what they need. I know what they need.
And do you think
it doesn't mean
at the
I will
moment
impose on them, but I will give them the chance to make their own lives successful.
Do you think there's belief in the country at the moment that you are going to deliver their needs, or you're going to serve their needs?
Yes.
Or do you think that at the moment people think you just want to do it your way? Can you give me an example when you took some of your beliefs and realised they weren't quite right to serve people in your businesses and changed it?
I have hired people and put people in positions in my organisations and my businesses who have been then made wrong decisions. I'm not going to talk specifics because that's not fair on those individuals concerned. And they've been making decisions that were not right, so I then fired them and said, you're not making the right decisions. You're not doing the right thing. So there was the betterment. That's for the betterment of that person as well, not just for the people that they were affecting in doing the job wrong, but for their own sake, because they were not being rewarded for failure. Because my organisation then went on to be successful in those businesses.
Yeah, in your organisation, you can play it how you want to because you want it to run the way you want it to run. But can you do that with a country? You've got a lot of different individuals and a lot of cultures, a lot of stuff going on in the United States that you would need to consider. Can you do that?
I agree. But government...
Do you think you're doing that in some of the stuff that you've said lately?
As I said earlier, government is about enabling the people to live their lives, to run their lives how they want to and how they can, and providing things for them to be able to do, providing a place for businesses to run the buses, to run the trains, for providing the infrastructure on which they can use to make themselves better, to make their money so that they can pay for their kids to go to schools, to be seen in hospitals, to make sure they got clothing on their back, to live life. And that is what I am about. Making the people...
Who are you inspired by, Mr. Trump?
Who inspires me? It's a very good question, and I thank you for asking me that question. There are some great people in this country. I have seen Eisenhower. Dwight Eisenhower was a great man, a good president for this country.
What did he do?
He led this country in the war. You not there? No, you were not there. Of course you weren't.
Well, neither were you. Which war?
I think I was. I am 70 years old now. I was alive when the war and he was around, and he led the good American people to bring peace in Europe and to the world. And he negotiated with people and made pledges to share things with this great country of yours, England, this great country of yours. With Mr. Winston Churchill, we pledged to share certain secrets and things and keep this special relationship alive.
Do you think that alliance is still here?
I think that our two countries have a very special relationship. I think we are both struggling at the present moment. The Brexit whole issue has made quite an impact from what I've been reading and heard about. The people do not want to be ruled by faceless people who don't have any concern for them or any wishes for them to do better. They want to look after themselves. It's about claiming yourself, claiming back your own dignity and your ability to live your life.
You see, Mr. Trump, now you've stirred something in me here.
I am steady.
No, but you really have, because when I think back when I was a little girl,
Not
and it
that
was
long
before
ago.
Thatcherism. I think
Margaret Thatcher was a great woman.
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, I can't remember fully, and I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in any of historical politics, even going back into the 70s. But Carter was running the States. I think there was a Tory government. There might have been I don't know. It was a bit of Edward Heath and Harold Wilson and people like that. And then along came Margaret Thatcher, who developed a real what looked to be a strong relationship with Ronald Reagan. And I remember going to school and a teacher said to me, "Oh, Mrs. Thatcher creeps up the backside of the Americans so much it's embarrassing." Things like this I would hear. But what it did tell me was that there was a relationship there. It was close. People are very quick to judge and say that, and just get mean about it and critical. It's part of how we are as humans at times. We can be very evil and ugly to ourselves and to other people. But anyway, enough of that. I don't see that now. And when I don't see that there's an alliance, there's a bond. There's almost like everybody is just sort of trying to survive in their own little pockets.
I think.
What's that? What are you going to do to bring some, unite that again?
I think the United Kingdom and the United States have a very long history of working together. One of the things that...
But it's almost like a relationship that used to happen.
You asked me a question. Can I let me finish,
Of
please?
course.
One of the few things that Hillary's husband, when he was president, another corrupt individual, another man who had sex with other women in the White House? What? When one of the good things that came about with him and Tony Blair, they were united and they went forward. And two great countries working together, and I want us to do that, to continue that relationship, and I want us to move forward.
Why do you want that?
Because I want it for the betterment of the world, for the betterment of the people, for people to have better lives in which they are free to do what they need to do.
Who
that
don't
they can,
you want to
they're
work
free
with?
to work
So
hard.
you're still saying that you feel that the United Kingdom is still a winner in this world and can serve the world. Who don't you want to work with?
And there are.
You're very good at firing people.
Yeah, indeed. I am. You're fired.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. I want to work with whoever will work with me, who is prepared
Is that
to
the
knuckle
truth?
down. Yes. There is the truth. I don't want to work with criminals. I don't want to work with drug dealers. I don't want to work with alcohol people who induce the failures in people, to take advantage of them. My own dear brother died of alcoholism, and he was a great man. He had so much potential wasted. To see that happen to a man who I looked up to, and I thought was a great man at the time, has really affected me and has helped me live my life. I don't want to see anyone should have to suffer that, because the advantage, it's not, if he had not had been drinking alcohol, he could have achieved so much. Being beholden to these crutches, these drugs and things like that, is not good, because it
But
just
do you have
takes people.
compassion for those that struggle in those areas? Or is it... You said you don't want to work with people that suffer,
prey, no.
or actually maybe not suffer from the addiction itself, but actually prosper
Exactly.
from pushing the addiction.
Those people who make money on the backs of other people's suffering, it's not that. Those are the people who we will not be working with. We'll be working with those people who want to work to earn a decent living, to be able to clothe and feed their children, and send them to school, and have a job, and be proud that what they earn is what they earn.
Okay, so I think that's absolutely a fair point, and I would be very disappointed if you were to say anything else, in all honesty. It's very easy to say that. Is that your truth? I would say that is your truth.
I think it is my
and
truth.
especially having suffered watching your brother die from alcoholism, it is very sad, and I totally identify with that. But then, on the other hand, you make such sweeping statements about women, and women find it very, very difficult to comprehend what that's all about. Is that just Jack the lad, or is it very derogatory to women?
Jack the lad.
Sorry, Jack the lad. It's a bit, I can forgive some men for being a little bit locker room talk and stuff like that. I know that happens. I don't fully understand it. Don't get it. But I don't get the male species in many areas.
I think we equally struggle to understand the female species.
Yeah, exactly, and I think we have to allow for that. That it's been a millions of years battle for everybody, and I get that. But then there's the extreme. There's some of the comments that you've made that it confuses people. Is this just Donald not taking life too seriously, or is he actually got a concern with women? Do you feel that you're of a higher level to a woman?
I know. I've already pointed out, when I ran my businesses, I appointed women to positions of power, of responsibility, where no one else had ever done that before. The construction industry is a male-dominated industry, and I put 2 women at the top of those my organizations to run that, and they did a fantastic job because they were the best people for the job. Because they were absolutely the best people for the job, and those people, and they deserved the chance. They were being held back just because of their sex. That's ridiculous. They were able to run successfully, work for my organisation, and successfully work for themselves, and do that. I am the greatest respect for women. No one has more respect for women than I do.
Well, if I'm being, again, I have to be very honest as well, sitting here, that I am personally not offended by some of the stuff that you said, because I would totally be able to handle that and give back if I was offended. But I have to remember that not everybody has the same values as me. Not everybody has the same belief system as me. So when I do sometimes say things, I like to think that I consider my audience and consider that their sensitivities. And do you feel that, you do that? Or is it, this is who I am, and stuff the rest of you?
Those videos of my locker room speak, as we say, we call it, they were not made to be public, to be shown to ladies like yourself, lovely ladies like yourself, or any other ladies.
But the comments you made to Megan Ryan, I mean, they obviously were comments that were made out so everybody could hear. Is this actually part of your makeup?
I don't wear makeup. I have the greatest respect. I have the greatest respect for Meg Ryan. I've been back.
Is this just a loose tongue that goes now and again, and you have a bit of fun with it?
I think sometimes we can all have a little locker room speak. It's not speak.
But that's not
how I feel.
Do you feel
that's
that
not how
that is?
If I run my businesses like that, off the cuff, that would have got nowhere.
So if you had heard that sort of loose lip derogatory speak from a previous president, can you honestly say you'd have just laughed it off?
When I made those statements, when I made those comments that were not meant to be part of there weren't comments made, I'm running for president because I want to sort this country out. At that time I wasn't running for president when I made those comments. They were not the comments of a man who even wanted to be the president of the United States. I now want to be the president of the United States because I want to sort this country out. I want this country to be great again. Now I would not do those, make those comments, because that is not who I am. That is not who I am.
Well,
there's a tremendous quality to women, and I want to use those tremendous qualities and those tremendous abilities that they have to help make this country great again.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you should be hung out to dry for stuff that you said in the past. Absolutely not. Because if I was assessed on some of my comments that I have made in the past, I certainly, it wouldn't be a good day. You know, I wouldn't be able
all
to
say things we
and I
regret.
totally get that.
Yes.
But I think, do you acknowledge and recognise that there are some things that you need to work on, Mr. Trump?
There are some things that I need to work with, possibly, but they're not.
What are
but
those things?
I don't think. The things I want to work with, that need to work with, and is this corruption in this country. I need to get rid of it.
Do you feel that you've grown yourself to be in a position to grow this country?
I think I've grown myself. Yes, I have grown myself. I once was a little boy, and now I'm a man. I have a vast experience.
I didn't just mean physically, Mr. Trump.
I did appreciate that. My little joke, Maria, my little joke. I have had experiences. As I've said before, I've ran many businesses. I've ran successful businesses. I would not have, before I'd done those and had those experiences, I would not have stood for President of the United States, because I had not run anything. I have run those things successfully. I have coped with talking to many different people, and I have talked on all levels. When you work in the construction industry and you build hotels, you speak to everyone from the cleaners to the bricklayers, as you call them, the hard carriers, as you call them in this country. All those people, right all the way through these organizations. Those are the people you get to know, and you have to get to know, and you speak honestly with them, and you get the best out of those people. You seek to get the best out of those people, and that is what I have done in my business life. And that is what I would do as President of the United States.
Okay, so far we've established that, you know, you've made some statements about women. You weren't being too serious. Some of it is just man stuff as you're growing through life. You recognise that you need to be appropriate in your position. And you've also demonstrated that you've employed women and given them very, very important roles because they were the right people. So that's, you know, that's good. That's stuff that we want to hear. I believe that's your truth. You've talked about your businesses and how successful they've been, and you will use some of those strategies to bring into the country. I totally makes sense to me. However, there's still something underlying here that tells me that you're giving it a go, but you don't have everything that is required to do this job.
I tell you what, it certainly doesn't have anything to do.
It's almost as if, at the moment, I'm feeling that you may as well go for it, and we might as well give you a crack. Well, there's a bit of that feeling in this.
Well, there's a much better opportunity. The alternative.
Whereas I'm not sure that's what has been felt in the past. I don't know if that's because of your exposure and the way the media is today, because I'm not sure that any previous president had the exposure that you have had, and you've really showed who you really are.
Ronald Reagan was a Hollywood star.
Well, we used to see him on a horse now and again. Yeah,
no,
granted.
In the United States, he was on films, and he'd done that for years. So I think he had a lot more exposure than I have.
I'm trying to do you a favour here, Mr. Trump. I actually think maybe you've really shown a lot of yourself here, flaws and all.
Thank you.
And really, had anybody else been filmed as much as you have and been willing to share as much of themselves, would we have found some of the same things, or would we have found a lot of things being hidden? You know, is this as bad as it gets, those comments about women? Is this as bad as it gets for you? Are you not doing a real job to hide stuff? I really, really have no idea about this. But one of the things I am going to sort of move on to, just to help me a little bit more about finding out who you really are, is I understand you're a Christian.
Indeed.
Now, this isn't about tapping into your religious beliefs. I want to know a little bit about, I suppose there is a word there, and it might offend some people, but it's spirituality. For me, spirituality is about doing the next right thing. And to do the next right thing, I have to make sure that my insides are in good shape so that I can produce to the outside world something that is good.
Okay.
What do you do? What do you do to ensure that your thinking is good, that you're physically in shape, that you're emotionally not too attached to anything?
I've never made a decision to do anything that I do not feel is right. and I have always held the same values, the same core values.
But that's not my question. My question is, what is it that you do to ensure that you are sticking to those values?
I will question myself on any decisions that I make. Is this the best decision I'm going to make?
Do you talk to yourself then? Is that what you do?
You
It's not.
It made me sound like a madman.
It's not a trick question. Do you talk to? Well, no. Do you talk to yourself?
I will query any decision. I will make sure if I have trusted advisors, and I will speak to them as well. I have some great Christian theologians who are around me, and I will talk to them.
How often do you speak to them?
It depends which ones.
Are you totally relying on Donald Trump to run this country?
No. I can't run this country on my own.
So we need to understand who you are tapping into, who you are sharing your time with. You become your company, Mr. Trump. Who is your company?
I have a lot of people in my organisation, and that's the key part. If this is Donald Trump to lead, Donald Trump to show the way, and the way that we want this country to live, however, the people with me will be doing the work as much as I will. I will be on top. I will
Who
providing
are these
a leadership.
People?
There are thousands of names. How can I can't go through the names now.
Well, I'm not asking you to go through the names, but what do you do? Do you meet every week? Do you meet every day?
I see people.
Do you pick up the phone?
I don't stop working. I work from the moment I wake to the moment I sleep, and I do not sleep a lot.
Well, that's the other ism that concerns me about you, Mr. Trump.
What's that then?
Well, we've talked about alcoholism.
You think I'm a workaholic? Is that the case?
I'm asking the question. There's no room for anything else in your life. It concerns me.
There is room for other things in my life. I have a beautiful wife and a great family.
When do you share time with your wife? I don't.
When? We went for a lovely meal last night.
This is what we need to know, Mr. Trump. We need to know.
I don't think we do.
Just need. We do. We do need to know that, because all we ever see is you talking on a soapbox.
Because I'm running for the President of the United States. The President of the
People relate to real people.
The President of the United States needs to be someone who can enable others to live their lives, and that's what I will do. I am not going to be taking it for my own good, because I don't need the hassle of learning the United States.
Do you have any hobbies?
Business.
Other than
business is my hobby. Business is my hobby. I love doing business. Absolutely. Why would I want to do anything else? Because I love doing business.
What's the difference between a passion and a love and an addiction?
An addiction if it's to your detriment, but business has been to my benefit, and to the benefit of many thousands and thousands of people, because they have benefited from having jobs and work and kept themselves occupied and built things and made things, which is give them a respect for themselves. Mm-hmm. And that's what I do. I have respect for myself because I see how I have affected other people's lives, and I want to affect the whole of the United States' lives now. I want them to do much more. I think
that's a really good place to end here, Mr. Trump. And the reason I'm saying is because that was one hell of an answer at the end there.
Thank you.
And if actually running this country is your passion, I wish you all the best with it.
Thank you. It's been a tremendous day today. Tremendous to speak to you today, to speak to the British public, and to take on this
God bless you.
thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.